This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down, Michael for three. Yes! She is gone!
I can't believe what I just saw.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
All right, everyone. Welcome back to this week's show, and welcome, Cubs and Cardinals fans. It is Thursday, April 7th, and this is the Team of Rivals podcast, proud members of the Gateway City Sports Network, where you can find great podcasts and blog content. You can follow us online at teamofrivalspodcast.com, on Instagram and Facebook, and Rumble at Team of Rivals Podcast, and on Twitter and Getter at Team of Rivals Pod. For those of you watching us live, hit the link, hit the like and subscribe button. And be sure to ring that bell on YouTube and Rumble so that you receive notifications anytime we post new content. All right, joining me for tonight's show is co-founder and co-host. Wait a second. Where's that guy at? Elliot, you're here, right? What's wrong with this picture? What is wrong with this picture tonight?
It looks like we have a no-call, no-show.
We have a no-call, no-show, and for as much shit as he gives you, and to be fair, I do too. I
would only expect this out of me. I don't expect this out of you.
I know. Okay, so we don't have Pete tonight, but anyway, it's we're not going to let that get us down. There's cause to celebrate today because opening day has finally arrived, and we got a win-win, right, in the National League Central with the Cubs and the Cardinals. Cubs beating up a little. I wouldn't say beating them up, but a good game up on the north side.
I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that either.
Against the reigning Cy Young winner.
He didn't look great out of the gate. We'll talk about that there in a little bit. The Cardinals put the thumping on the Pittsburgh Pirates, so take it with a grain of salt. Take it for what it's worth. It is Pittsburgh, and I want to get into a little bit later, Elliot, of what it must be like to be a fan, even on opening day. I've already seen Pirates fans just lose the will to live by like the third inning. So, all right, if we want to do this first, I'm going to celebrate a little bit. I know I never do on the show. Like, we never drink on this show ever. But I'm going to pop a little champagne tonight in celebration of opening day. I'm disappointed that our co-host is not with us. That's a little bit of a bummer, but maybe he will wander his way onto the show. You've done that before, and we've got you in seamless. The public hasn't even known. So, going around the league, the Cubs were the very first game today, so I had that on for a while in the background. I was working today, so I caught a little bit of it. It's just great to see baseball back. It's always like this, right? I mean, even though we're about a week late, it's still nice to see things that have gotten off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, absolutely. I was, the fate of the weather allowed the Cubs to be the first game of the season with was it Boston or who the Yankees play? It was Yankees game.
I'm looking.
So they got rained out. They got postponed till tomorrow. So the Cubs got to open baseball this year. It wasn't quite as exciting when they opened baseball down in Miami, but it was still nice to see. So, yeah, really, really pleasant game all around. I mean, we'll get more into the minutia of the game, but I was actually happy to have the ball game on. So
yep, I'm the same way. I'll put us both on screen here. Sorry, I was trying to remember how to share stuff on Facebook. It's been a while since we've done a live show. And I'll make sure we're up live over on YouTube as well. You know how I feel about the live thing, Elliot. It always adds an extra layer of complexity and stress, and I hate it so much. I'd rather just go back to audio. But I thought we were gonna have all three of us on tonight. So look what I did here. Got all set up and everything, and
you got all pretty.
Lo and behold,
you got stood up.
We got stood up. The fanfare in St. Louis is always great when it comes to opening day with the Clydesdales, all the red jackets that show up. Today was way more unique. I don't think we haven't
You had a special guest.
We did. We had a couple of them actually, but I've been able to attend one opening day, and it was in 2011. It was Albert's last opening day under his original, in his first. I didn't even want to call it a stint. It was more than that. It feels cheap to call it a stint, but his first round with the Cardinals, that was his final opening day, and I got to see that this year. And there was kind of that feeling that, like the new face of the franchise is batting right behind him, and Matt Holliday. You kind of felt that, right? You even felt that on that opening day. So there's a little bit, of bittersweetness to that. They did drop opening day. Ryan Franklin being their closer at the time. I remember blowing the lead right at the end, but opening day in St. Louis is probably one of the best around baseball. And look, I've given the Cardinals organization everything. I give them a lot of shit for when I don't feel that they've done things right. Thing that St. Louis has always done right though has been opening day. LA, I know you haven't been to one, but it's a celebration of baseball because that is a baseball town.
Well, yeah, without a football team, it really is. Sorry, didn't mean to dig the knife in too much there.
You're not digging it in for me, man. I'm not a football. I'm a Bears fan,
yeah,
so
I know.
All right, let's see if I can do this without spilling. There we go.
There you go.
I don't think we've had a champagne cork pop on the show yet. And you would think if you had to pick one of the three of us to pop a champagne cork while we're trying to talk baseball, who do you think that would have been?
Me.
No, it would have been Mr. Absolutely. Pretentious himself.
That's true, Mr. Wino.
That's right. I think he ate a steak dinner once on a live show, didn't he? Didn't he I think
yes, he did.
Make himself a nice. Yeah, he made himself a nice cut of meat.
The tears of Cardinals fans, I think, that day.
maybe. But yeah, opening day's awesome. I was looking forward to that all day long, watching it. And MLB.TV, give them credit today. They had all the pregame stuff on, which in past years they haven't. I mean, literally they start when the game broadcast is supposed to start, and they don't show that stuff. And in the past, they weren't showing any post-game stuff either, so they kept that on. And I think they started doing that last year. It's probably from a little bit of fan feedback, but a little bit later, we can also talk about the blackouts, which is something they haven't solved yet, and something that's killing people. I mean, literally, it's bad. But anyway, back to opening day, they did honor the three, Wainwright, Molina, and Pujols. It's pretty cool. It's cool enough seeing him in spring training, back in the colors, seeing him in the home uniform. I mean, when he just came out on a deck. I mean, Elliot, it's like time didn't even elapse between when he was here and looking at him today in the plate. He's definitely dropped weight since last year. He looks better. It's like he never left. I mean, it really does feel that way. I know it's you hear probably tons of people that will say that over the next week, but it really felt like he hasn't even been gone.
I threw on the game after the Cubs game. Yeah, I think it was like the fifth inning or sixth inning or something like that. And they put up the picture of Pujols, and I'm like, are they using one from like 2011? I'm like, or
right.
2009.
Did they did Lucasfilm de-age him and put it on the telecast, right? Right.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't look like that anymore. But, I'm like, I know he's got gray in his beard. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he does. That was a pretty thick, full, very dark beard. I know that when I was...
Because he is like 47, right?
I think he's 42 I think he's 42.
It says 42 on the back of his baseball card, but what is the actual age of Albert?
All I know at 42 is I had a ton of gray hair, right? And the beard is full of it. I don't grow it out that long, so you can't really tell, but I know I have a lot of gray.
I'm 42. Look at that.
I know. It's caught you quicker than it's caught me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the opening day ceremonies, everything's great, and of course the game gets off to a start. We are playing Pittsburgh, right? So the baseball gods gave us a gift on the home opener with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes, they did.
And I can't even remember what the pitcher's name was. He was like 1-9 on the road last year and a game under 500 at home. But what do you expect your record to be when you're a Pirates starter, right? So
yeah. Well, I mean, the only bit of good news that the Pirates had today was that they extended their phenom third baseman to a 7-year contract.
Yeah, and he also was taken out the first inning with an injury. So that's like,
of course,
that's an illustration of what it's like to probably be a Pirates fan, is to have something like that happen, right? Like, so, the Pirates actually invested, it appears long term, into something.
Just to trade him,
maybe
and
just
get a big return back.
Right, yeah. So I won't go through inning by inning through the game. It was good. It was good to just see it back. It was good to see a packed house in there, and it was great to see all the hear, just baseball happening in the background when I had to actually catch up on emails or something like that. It was just good to hear baseball on in the background, even during the Cubs game. It was great. So, Victor Caratini, real quick, I noticed this yesterday, got traded to the Brewers.
Yes.
And he's going to enjoy playing in front of the Cubs home crowd at Brewers games in Milwaukee.
He's going to feel at home for about 32 games during the year when the Cubs play up in Milwaukee and when they're down in Wrigley. Hey, he got a really nice standing ovation and cheer from the crowd. So
this is good shit, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we get a sponsor. Maybe if you hold it up, that champagne company will sponsor us.
My wife's wine club. She gets it for me. Oh, let me turn the label the right way. There you go.
Langlois.
However you want to say it.
Yeah.
Good shit. But yes, I've been sitting on that one for opening day. I've come a long way from where I was. I've come a long way from where I was during this lockout. I held out until.
I think we all have. I mean, I could see when Pete actually was communicating with us today and texting us about, parts of the game that I think he was generally excited. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was, which is a surprise that he's a no-show tonight. I just don't understand. Look, there's one reason, or there's a couple reasons that I'm going to excuse this. I know typically he has his boy with him on Thursday nights, so maybe there's kid maybe not feeling well or something, so he's got to prioritize that.
It's possible.
2, better involve a woman. The only 2 reasons I will allow this. That's it.
Or he's dead, which I hope he's not.
No, of course not. Jesus, man, you don't turn dark on this thing.
No, sorry.
No, that's all right. Okay, so yeah, the Cardinals put the thumping on there. Paul Goldschmidt walked his 4 first at bats. Right? They said that's the first Cardinal to ever do that on opening day. He was 1 for 1 with 4 walks. The Cardinals did a little.
Sounds like a Barry Bonds stat line.
Right, doesn't it? Right.
Yeah.
Like during a playoff game.
Right.
They did a little interesting thing with the lineup. So what got lost in all of this today, with Albert returning, the 3 remaining Cardinals from the 2011 World Series team, it's probably definitely their last year playing together. What is lost in all of this is the fact that the Cardinals have a new manager, and this is his first game. Ollie Marmol was the bench coach for the last 3 years for Mike Schilt. And that shit was just flown under the radar, right? Nobody talked about it.
I totally forgot about that.
I know, right? I did too. I wasn't thinking about it. I mean, we've seen his face on the bench. We've known his name. And so he's the skipper now. And he's only 35, by the way. Youngest active, I think, manager in the major leagues.
Yeah.
And, that kind of got lost in the shuffle today, but they mentioned it on the broadcast. I'm like, oh, yeah, God, I haven't even given that one thought today. not one.
He's got 6 players that are older than him.
Oh, he's got it. Yeah, I mean, shit.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, probably maybe a few more. No, that's probably about right, Elliot. But that's got to be strange, right? I mean, you got a player like Molina and Pujols sitting there on your bench or wherever they're on your roster.
Right.
How do you not write them in, and get a little bit of shit from them, even if it's friendly?
Think about he's probably already thinking about the first day that he's going to rest Molina and the blowback that he's probably going to get when he makes him have a rest day.
Well, I think some of that it feels like some of that territory has been covered. Like that's expected this year.
Probably.
So I wouldn't be surprised in this opening series. And here we go. You know, they got the day off tomorrow. I won't talk about that yet. I hate that. But I wouldn't.
I hate Friday off day after the
first. It's just the dumbest thing, right? I mean, we've waited all this time.
4-game series between the Cubs and the Brewers, so there is no off day for this.
Oh, that's lucky.
Series.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah. I mean, you put us through a lockout, you delayed everything, you pissed us off for about 3 months, and now it's we've said this every year. I hate the day off after opening day.
Oh, it's so dumb.
It is. I can't stand it, but I wouldn't be surprised this weekend if Yachty is not starting on Sunday and they do start Kisner. I think Kisner is I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm betting he gets I'm guessing he gets, he's definitely going to get a start a week, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 2 starts a week. So I think on Sunday we'll probably see him in the lineup.
Probably for the health of Yachty, I think it would be better.
Yeah, I think most people feel that way.
His performance will probably be better. I mean, you look on the opposite side and you look at the Cubs where you had Wilson Contreras, who caught the most innings out of any catcher in MLB last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Cubs brought in Yan Gomes, who is a good catcher and has a good offensive numbers to help give him more days off so that he can be a more productive hitter, as everybody knows that he can be. And it also does help that even on those days, they could probably slot him in as DH to keep his bat in the lineup.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a few, you'll see a little bit of a rotation. Goldschmidt will even get a few days off. They didn't have a real good replacement for him in previous years. So, Albert's probably going to get a start every so often too at first base just to give him a rest. So, but they did something interesting with the lineup today. I expected to read Tommy Edman leading off. They did have Dylan Carlson, not really a conventional leadoff hitter, but you look around baseball, like who's the, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He plays for the Pirates now. Heavy guy for the Brewers last year, and I can't remember his name.
Oh,
I've got the wrong name in my head. I don't want to say it 'cause it's a different player, but
shit.
He always gets the Chris Farley memes tied to him, like with the Brewers hat on, but I forgot his name.
Well, in Brewers fashion, they do have a big guy that's on there, a husky guy.
Yeah. I saw him today. Right, that's right. I've never heard of him before.
Yeah. I can't remember. He was on an American League team last year, I believe. So
Vogelbach.
Yes, Dan Vogelbach.
I didn't know.
Ex-Cub.
Ex-Brewer from last year, right?
Yes. Cubs traded him to, God, I want to say Seattle. I believe they traded him to Seattle.
He was a Mariner, yeah.
And then I believe he got traded to the Yankees.
I don't know, but I guess my point was, it's like you look around baseball, and these are the types. He was leading off today for the Pirates, so like I think the days of having your prototype Ricky Henderson or guys like that, I just don't know how. Kind of done.
Yeah, I was expecting Nico Horner to be leading off today, and they had Madrigal, but they put Nico all the way at 9, so that when
kind of a second leadoff hitter you get in the later innings.
Exactly. Yeah, which I kind of hate it, but I understand it.
No, I get it too, and it's Tommy Edman. That's where they put him. They put him at 9. Harrison Bader at 8. But the positive of that is it's a hell of a lot of speed at the back of your lineup that you typically don't see.
Yeah.
So, a little bit different look. I still hate Goldschmidt batting second. I do so much, but nothing I can do about it.
Guy should be third.
Well, you think 3 or 4, right? Arenado's batting 4th. Or I'm sorry, Tyler O'Neill batting 3rd, and he looked pretty damn good today. He's changed quite a bit from 2 years ago because I was down on that guy. I was done with the whole Tyler O'Neill experiment. And I thought, well, you guys gambled on the wrong minor leaguers, shipping away Adolis Garcia.
Was he the one that had the 4 RBIs in the first 2 or 3 innings?
Well, he had 5 today, in total.
He had 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
He ended up with 5. So, but I think over last year, and he's off to a good start already. 1 game sample size is not much, but I mean, he's really like he's batting third in an order with all these names in there, right? So that's saying something for the kid. So he's definitely
so the pitchers are going to have to throw to somebody, and maybe that'll be perfect for him.
You're protected by Nolan Arenado, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna see some pitches. So I do like the way this lineup is looking right now. And again, I know it's the Pirates, and you put 9 on them. We'll see. We'll see when they get a better test how this lineup performs. But I do like the lineup better than I have in years. Even seeing Albert in there as DH. But telltale sign when the Cardinals lineup is healthy is when I don't see Molina batting 1 through 5. When he's back in the order, that means they've got the top half of their lineup figured out. And I think he's always been better back there. Now, so I don't want to take anything away from him. He's been a great situational hitter. He's the guy I'd want up there when you need something to happen at the plate, when you need the ball put in play. He's the guy I want to see almost every time. But the Cardinals lineup is generally humming better when they're not having to put him, 1 through 5. I mean, I don't think they've ever had him at 1, but he's not batting ahead of the 5th spot. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Pujols experiment ends up. It maybe having him in St. Louis will kind of help revitalize him, and having those home fans that just adore him will kind of give him new breath, for this season.
He made some great contact today. He didn't have any luck, but he made contact today. He's not up there, swinging and missing at everything.
Right.
So I think he's going to be fine. He started because this was opening day. I don't know how many right-handed starters he'll actually get a start against, but they were going to do that today. I think that was expected. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the starting lineup on Saturday. They've got Newt Barr or Dickerson or somebody else in there. Would be my expectation. We'll see. He looked good today, though. I mean, for 57, he looks pretty damn good.
Exactly.
Yeah. And not to get into his personal life, but I was a little shocked by what I read too.
God,
I mean, that's a that's a long time, so right? Weird. Yeah, it is. That's shocking. He's very, I don't know. I don't even want to. I don't want to spend any time on it at all. But that's another layer of complexity in his life right now.
He's on his farewell tour, and he wants to bang all the chicks.
Yeah, well, I guess if you wear a pair of cleats in St. Louis, your chances are sky high.
Exactly.
Right. I think they call those. I don't want to say the name. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time talking about St. Louis the whole time through. So, observations on your Cubs game today, because I saw you and Pete going back and forth there on text. The Brewers are going to be a good team again. Their pitching is going to be good. I know Burns didn't look as sharp today, but you got to expect that he's going to come around.
Yeah, I mean, their pitching staff is probably. I think it's rated actually number 1 in the National League. They've got.
You think the Mets are ahead of the Mets?
Strong, not with the injury to.
Oh well, yeah. There's injuries, but DeGrom and Scherzer, right?
DeGrom's hurt. Scherzer's kind of coming back. I think he may start this by Sunday.
Okay.
But DeGrom is out for a while, and I think with DeGrom out for that long, you kind of give the nod to the Brewers. So, I mean, super strong bullpen. I mean, especially that back end with fucking Hader. I hate that guy.
Everybody hates that guy.
I was happy to hear the boo birds come out to him when he was announced.
Shit is never going to go away with him. It's really not. But
no,
before you get into the Cubs game today and what you saw, I just want to say that Wainwright did cruise through 6 innings, and he's always had great numbers against the Pirates and against the Pirates. But Adam looks really good. For being 40 years old. Hitting. He's hitting high 80s, 90 at best. But he's got.
He's John Lester.
Yeah, he's got really good control, and he still has the one of the highest rotations on his curveball in the entire league, which creates a lot of movement and a sharp drop. So, and you saw that in effect today too. So he looked really good. Yeah. We'll see. They've named Jordan Hicks their 5th starter, which has been a closer, and he's been hurt, right? He hasn't pitched a lot over the last 2.5 years. So
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. I would expect him only go 2-3 innings tops in his first start, and we'll try to stretch him out. during a major league season, which is going to be strange, right?
Yeah.
But it speaks to the fact that
usually you'd want to send him down to the minors to do that, but
you do. Yeah. Yeah. You would think too, Elliot. And he's still very young.
Because he's still got options. So you can send him down there, or you can just,
I think it's going to be
use it as a rehab.
I think it's what I don't like seeing is the, fifth spot in the rotation being a committee. And you do that normally during the course of a season when you have an emergency, right? You have somebody that hit
because you can wreck your bullpen.
Yeah.
If you get a starter that can't get out of the third inning, and you're coming off of a committee start, that can.
Well, the
tough.
criticism they'll get if they run into the same problem they did last year, where they had an arms crisis, right? Is that they didn't do anything to fortify or beyond Steven Matz and Verhagen and a couple others, like they could have done more to fortify that rotation. And we know how important it is to stay protected, right? So sometimes life throws you a curve, and that's why you need Allstate. Speaking of protection, the Wiley Group has 2 locations in Festus and Arnold to serve you. They offer home, auto, boat, motorcycle, business, life insurance, investments, and so much more. They offer a customized approach that is unique to your situation to make sure you, your family, and assets are properly protected. They offer great rates and savings. Give Sean and his team a call today at 636-764-6294. That's 636-764-6294. They'll help you get a quote right over the phone. We all have busy lives. You can email Sean at SeanWiley@allstate.com and talk to him about your coverage options. And remember, you're in good hands with Allstate. Cubs. Tell us about it.
Back.
I didn't know you left. That's good. You left during you cut out during the ad read. That if you're going to do it at all, that's the time to do it. Okay, your Cubs game today.
I didn't want to leave you hanging, so
that's cool. Cubs game.
Cubs game. So I'll start with pitching.
Okay.
Kyle Hendricks looked pretty good. I mean, I was worried about him during spring training because everything he was throwing was right down the middle. And that's where he got in trouble last year. I mean, he gave up a lot of home runs comparative to previous years. And he kept his fastball down. He was able to use that to set up, to throw off-speed pitches, to get guys to swing and miss. I mean, he had 7 Ks today, and that's really good for him. He's not usually a swing and miss type pitcher. He's more of a get ground balls. Now, the one thing that does kind of bother me a little bit is that he had quite a few outs in the air, but I think he kind of addressed that after the game. So feel pretty good. I mean, he 5.1 innings, so 7 Ks, only gave up 3 walks, which he's not really a big walk guy, but I mean, so 3 is pretty high for him. So, but overall, happy with it. Just I wish he would have won another inning or so, because our bullpen is the big old
question mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of young new guys, and if they're gonna be in it at all this season, they're gonna need to address it somehow, some way, whether that's through acquisition or maybe develop some of these guys down in the minors and bringing them up. So, which you would have thought that maybe you'd see some more of the younger guys in there from spring training, but it just didn't turn out that way. The other kind of big thing today was the debut of Seiya Suzuki, the one guy that we spent quite a bit of money on this year for a position player. So he looked really good at the plate. He's got a great eye for the strike zone. He walked twice, and he had a nice little rip down left field today, which, I mean, hopefully I have a good feeling about him. So got to see him make a couple of plays out and right. Looks like he's got a pretty decent arm. So I think he'll keep some of those doubles that you may see down to singles, and I could see him with some good assists this year. Other real surprising thing that you really don't see in the beginning of the year is Ian Happ. Man, the guy looks in real good form like he did at the end of last season. And I know Pete and I have said this the last couple of years that the beginning of his year has always been terrible. And then he, like the last 60 to 85 days, he turns it on and ends up having like you forget about his shitty first part of the season because he turns it on at the end of the season. Well,
somehow our feed actually went out on Twitter tonight, Elliot.
What's that?
Our feed went out on Twitter tonight, which it hasn't like in like months for some random.
So shit actually worked tonight?
Shit actually worked tonight, and we didn't have the third party, our third co-host on with us. So I did share the link out to some of my Marine Corps buddies too. They're on a chat. We have one Astros fan in that group. Boo, right?
Yeah.
One Red Sox fan, double fucking boo on him.
Meh.
And we have an A's fan.
Oh, cool.
I like how we're sympathetic to that. Like,
yes.
Like we rattle off all these teams. And we get to the A's fan. We're like, oh, okay, cool.
By the way, your ownership almost fucked up the CBA, but I guess we can kind of look.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to get into, right? So they had a list of all 30 teams' payrolls, and of course, I was shocked to see the Pirates not like dead last with the Orioles.
No shit.
But Baltimore was one of them. Not a surprise, right? And you got Oakland, and you've got Cleveland is in the bottom four.
Yep.
And
the Guardians.
I'm looking at this going, what's it like? What is it like to be a fan of some of these clubs? I mean, it's got to be just goddamn brutal, man. I mean,
I think the only bottom feeding spending wise club that the fans probably don't care is Tampa Bay, because somehow those guys, through acquisitions and through their farm system, always end up with a solid team. And and
it's not like they finish in the bottom half of it
forever.
It won't. But Elliot, they never finish. Like rarely do they finish. I mean, in recent memory, like since 2008, they made their one other World Series appearance. I think they did a couple years ago.
None of their players have any experience in the playoffs.
That's a valid point. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's always a young team. Maybe a veteran sprinkled in there every now and then that right. has some. But yeah, you're right. It's always like a rookie team arriving at the World Series and being like, "Oh shit, we're here!" And it was fun until now.
And then they poop their diapers.
Right. But you got to give that organization tons of credit. Like they don't finish in the bottom half of the league that often, so it's not like they're sitting there drafting high. They're not tanking. So they don't get like a lot of top 10 draft picks, but yet somehow that you look at up and down, and more years than not, they've got one of the higher rated farm systems. So they've got something figured out there. And you just imagine that if they could apply that to an organization that was willing to spend a little, that'd be a dangerous combination, right? I mean, you wouldn't have to sit there with, a Dodgers payroll, in excess of $240 million. It's just incredible. Max Scherzer, what's his salary this year? Like 43, 42 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's north of 40.
There are major league clubs less than that. And all four of them that, in the bottom of the, I mean, it's just like stupid. And, I'm at this thing that I can't even imagine what it's like being a fan of these organizations. Like you're hoping sometime in your lifetime, they turn a corner and enact some kind of strategy that they had laid out for like 5 years and things change and things get better.
Right.
Not with these clubs, Nope. And I hate to say it because I feel for the fans there, but the bottom four need to do. Oh, I think my son was trying to call.
Wasn't that part of the CBA where they were like, there needs to be a minimum, there needs to be a floor of what these teams need to spend, and it just didn't become a part of this.
Well, yeah, you would think that, right?
The players wanted it. Like, listen, the ownership needs to spend $100 million in salary. And they're not going to give shitty players that money. They're going to go and they're going to have to sign somebody to make it worth it.
Right.
So, and that's what you want. You want good players on your team so that your team will perform well to bring in the fans.
But they've been, Like, I mean,
kind of like what Colorado did, where they're a shit team, but they paid Chris Bryant a lot of money to put butts in the seats.
yeah, you know, and you look at like my buddy from the Marine Corps. You know, he's an Oakland fan, and they've been, you know, they can tend to be hot cold as far as the standings go year in and year out, depending on right, and so, you know, take Oakland as Northern California as a sports region anyway. I mean that city in particular has already suffered a loss of the Raiders. You know, they're I believe it's on a collision course for that team relocating or selling. I mean, all four of the bottom payroll teams. I mean, out in Baltimore, Oakland.
Oh God, Baltimore's never gonna leave.
I mean,
There's way too much history there.
I mean, and some of these they're iconic franchises. I mean, Pittsburgh, right? Like, so these are some of the oldest teams.
Stadium, what, less than about 5 years ago?
I think it's been a little bit longer than that, but
well, less than 10, maybe about 8.
I don't know. When was PNC put up? It doesn't matter, but it's been.
No, I guess not.
Like it should have. Yeah, they should have turned a corner at some point, and they haven't. They're in like, and I can't even look at these clubs, Elliot, and go, hey, you know, this is a rebuild, because I don't know if they are or not. Like they're the Pirates signing of
Jesus, 2001. I feel old.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's one of the.
I'm actually surprised to hear
new.
It feels newer than that. I'm with you.
Yeah, way newer.
I would have guessed maybe 10 years too, but I mean. The new Busch Stadium is 15 years old. 16, 17 years old.
Jesus Christ.
I know, right? That's, yeah.
I guess that makes sense, because when we went, it was to new Busch Stadium. I didn't even go to the old Busch Stadium.
We liked it for sentimental reasons.
Yeah.
There was something really cool about the old park with the upper structure was, you know, the arch kind of pattern that was in the
what about the heat in the summer?
Oh fuck, that was just a trap. That was I played a high school game there, and it was when it was turf. It was 93, I think, 94, somewhere around there. But yeah, I remember walking out behind home plate thinking I was coming out of a dugout, but we came out behind home plate and I was disoriented for a good 5 minutes. Like, couldn't play catch, dizzy, because think about when you walk out to most places you're playing, American Legion, travel ball, high school, it's this big open field, a couple bleachers, you know, behind the baselines or behind the backstop. Instead, you're surrounded in, remember, cookie cutter country, right? Like, it looks same all the way around, 360. I was dizzy, and it took a while before and now I'm walking on AstroTurf, where if you drop a ball, it bounces right back up into your hand. And so it was an odd experience, but yeah, that it was hot, and I can't imagine how hot that shit was, in a July or August for those players, like on a Saturday afternoon game. But they hated day games there; they had to. I mean, it was just like if you had black cleats on during a hot summer month like that, your feet, they'll probably just contour around your feet.
I was gonna say, it probably felt like they were melting.
Yeah. So. But there are things that I love about the old park, and it's just one of the things you get used to. But the new park is way better. There's a lot more room in the concourses and everything, and of course you go to a ballpark now, you can eat just about whatever you want as long as you know where it's at. But yeah, the new Busch Stadium and then what they've done with Ballpark Village around it's a great venue, and I look forward to going back this year. I wasn't sure if I would or not, but I will see Albert play again. So hopefully I catch it, right? That's the risk.
Yes.
You'll be in the lineup that day or not, because I can't get to many living where I live.
He could be sitting, could be resting. You never know.
I remember in 2001, Pete and I went to a game up in Chicago when we both lived in Bloomington. And, I hadn't seen Jim Edmonds play yet. I was looking, he'd just recently been traded.
Right.
And we go up there. Kerry Robinson's in center, and I gave that guy shit the whole game. Like, I did not. It's before all the improvements at Wrigley. I didn't like it. I was used to my hometown, and I go, I didn't come all the way up here to watch Kerry Robinson roam center field. We had bleacher seats out there too. So I was an happy camper.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Mm-hmm. It's not the worst, though. The worst is when I took a bus trip up there for a beautiful Saturday afternoon game at Wrigley between the Cubs and Cardinals, and that's when the game the Cardinals lost Darryl Kyle. So as we pull up to the stadium, the boards on the outside said game canceled. Beautiful day, like not a cloud in the sky. And days before the internet and smartphones are what they are today, like that whole ride back, not knowing what the hell happened, that bus literally did a U-turn, turned around, and went home. So, yeah, that was...
At least, was there any beer on the bus?
We drank it on the way up.
So you had none for the way back?
Not on the way back. It was a very sobering journey back home. And we found out what happened by the time we got back. And so that was the shittiest trip to Chicago, not seeing Kerry Robinson start in center field instead of Jim Edmonds, who they gave him an off day.
Right.
So, I know.
Shitty.
That is shitty.
Well, I'll finish my little thing about the Cubs because I kind of went through the two kind of big things of the day with Suzuki and
I do have Braden on with us, by the way.
Okay. Hey, Bray. And then Hap having a good day, and then Nico Horner flexing the muscles today and going yard. So that which was good to see. And it wasn't like he hit, your prototypical bomb.
Mm-hmm.
He made solid contact, hit a line drive, went over the fence. I mean, it was really awesome to see, because I think they said something like it had been 900 days since his last home run.
That's a long time.
That is a long time. So health will be dependent on that guy this year. So hopefully he can stay healthy all year. I really like the Madrigal Horner combo up the middle. So that should be fun this year. I mean, Wisdom's a great third baseman. He should be great, but his hitting will probably be suspect. We just need
you're gonna experience probably some. Yeah, you'll experience some feast and famine with him.
Yes,
absolutely.
For sure. So, but no, it was great to get the first win of the season, beat Corbin Burns. All around good day. So Roberts comes in, gets the save. So it was smiles all around. So no complaints.
B, you're on with us. Are you there? I haven't heard a peep out of you yet.
Yeah. My opening.
He's probably playing MLB The Show 22.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm doing right now.
You're playing it while you're talking to us. Okay.
Yep, doing the Road to the Show XP method.
I don't know what that is. You don't need to explain it. Guys, I didn't evolve beyond Ken Griffey Jr.'s baseball on Super Nintendo. That was like the last time I played, I think, video games religiously. Of course, I was still living at my parents' house and I was in high school. Do you remember? You had to remember that game, Elliot, right? I mean, it had to be.
Yeah.
That was
Ken Griffey Jr. baseball on
the first
Super
one.
Nintendo?
The first one. The second one sucks. I've got that.
Yeah, regular Nintendo.
No, it was Super Nintendo. It was the 16-bit, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, super.
Of course, there was RBI baseball and everything.
I played everything up to Super Nintendo, and then took a break before 2000 till 2001. So I guess that would have been like 94, and then I didn't really play anything all the way up until 2002 Xbox. So,
but the gameplay on a Super Nintendo, the options you had.
Oh God, yeah, it was mind blowing back then.
If I could relate this is the only way I can illustrate this. If you take this reflects 16-bit versus what we deal with today. Imagine a pack of 8 Crayola crayons versus the pack of 128 Crayola crayons. If I can illustrate that to anybody, that's what it's like today. Those are the choices, options, and things you have to know versus the 8-pack Crayola. There's something beautiful about the simplicity of the old games, even though you could throw a curveball that was against physics. I still prefer the old timey games.
Because today, if you wanna keep that analogy, it's like getting into that little hexagon cube with all the different colors that you can mix together, and then you're just like, all I want is blue. Where's blue?
That's it. For years at work, we'd pick a color of a product. Elliot, you were around this stuff too, and I would in principle agree to something like purple. Then somebody would show me like 16 chips of different shades of purple, and I started losing my shit after I got past 40. I'm like, I agreed to purple. You pick the goddamn shade. I don't care. Don't show me any more color chips. I don't care. I agreed to purple. Just because they all look the same to me. Shade. They all look the same to me. Has your wife ever tried to show you like paint swatches for painting anything in the house?
She doesn't show it to me anymore because I'm colorblind.
There you go. Well, again, a fact we did not know about Elliot. Like it's new stuff is revealed. Like 3 or 4 facts about you and your life and you as a person are revealed to us every year. Did not know Elliot was colorblind. B, is there anything about you that I don't know right now? You might as well just go ahead and jump on it.
I don't have a shirt on.
Well, that's not that. No, I would have guessed.
We could have guessed that. We had like a 60-30 chance or 60-40 chance that you did not have your shirt on today.
that's right. I in fact, the only way you would have surprised us is if you actually had one on, and we don't have you on FaceTime, so we can't see. Yeah, very true. So, Braden, I know you caught some of the game today, but he had to work a high school game tonight, sound and yeah. So he explained a little bit. He said that was a little stressful. So, Braden, you navigated your way through that.
Yeah, I did. There was no mic to cough into, so that was good. But yeah, I mean, I did the walk-up songs in between inning songs and scoreboard at the same time. So, you got to perfectly match up the time stamps for the walk-up song, and you got to switch it, and you're the next one, and
so
we
the
got
players
time.
pick out their songs, or do you have samples of like the organ, the organ playing?
I don't think they have an organ in Clinton high school games, but
no, I just said like clips
like,
from that.
You didn't have this,
yes,
Braden?
Exactly. Yes.
No, they got to pick their song.
Okay.
So it was a lot of rap.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. I had a couple rap songs myself in the
Hey B, if I send this to you, can you do this before a player comes up?
Quit calling this number. Thank you.
I still have Bud saved on the board.
Thank you.
I still have Bud saved. That's one that'll never be deleted, and he's not called back. I checked the Google Voice number probably about a month ago when we talked about it last. So
yeah, I believe so.
Whoever took our old Google number is evidently not pestering Bud with Spectrum ads. Or vehicle warranties. Speaking of vehicle warranties, that shit is unpleasant. Nobody likes to do it. I don't like to do it. We all know buying a vehicle can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Fifth Street Motors, located in Pacific, Missouri, will help you find the vehicle you need no matter what brand. Fifth Street Motors believes in giving you the best price on a pre-owned vehicle that will fit your budget. Give Brandon or Don a call today at 573-259-1306 and tell them Gateway City Sports sent you. Braden, how much of this game did you catch today? Because you had to.
I watched on my TV. I watched all the way up until Albert's first at bat, and then I had to leave and go to the field.
Yeah. And
during the game, I caught a few at bats. Like I saw Arenado's home run. I saw Edmonds' home run. Other than that, I really didn't see much. Just check the score or who's on base or whatever. So not as much as I'd like to for an opening day game, but I mean, it is what it is. That's what happens. Saturday, I'll be able to sit down and actually watch the entire game. So
yeah,
but I saw the important stuff that everybody else.
Yeah, you got to go back and watch the beginning. I think you can do that on MLB TV. I think you can go back and watch replays. I know I can, so I can watch some of that pregame, and I'm sure it's all over YouTube by now anyway. So yeah, so Braden, we've been talking about, the Cubs and Cardinals. Obviously, we're 2 wins for each club today, so off to a good start. I don't know what the expectations are for the Cubs this year as far as competing for this division. I've been confused.
All over the map.
Yes, and that's exactly right. I've been so confused by what they've done today. They went out and not today, but just the entire offseason, with the fire sale they had at the deadline last year. Then they go sign Marcus Stroman. There were rumors about Carlos Correa, which I'm sure Pete was disappointed.
Speaking of which, we didn't even talk about this. Did you see the report that when the Cubs made the offer to Carlos Correa, they made him an offer for 7 or 8 years in $30 million AAV.
Yeah.
And because when they made the offer, it was in that transition time when he was switching agents. So it's rumored that he never got that offer. And then after he got his new agent, that's when he signed with the Twins.
How pissed would you be?
Uh-huh.
Oh, pissed. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
So he if he reads this report or sees this report, he can opt out.
Well, you know about it. Well,
yeah. I mean, it was reported. I think it was John Heyman, it was a legit report, and he's got the opt out after this year. He can go back to the Cubs and say, "Hey, you want to make me that offer that I didn't get?"
Where are they going though? It's so confusing. Like, look, I get,
Here's the deal. Here's what I think. If the Cubs can play well and be in, I'm going to put quotations on this, in contention this year, I think they may go out and get some bullpen help, depending on what the starting rotation looks like. If they're at that 500 level, I think they just ride it and then restock for next year. It's really going to be interesting to see what they do with Brennan Davis. I mean, if that kid takes off and he comes up to the big club, it's going to make some waves for that outfield rotation of Suzuki, Hayward, Happ, Clint Frazier, Hermosillo, Ortega. So it's going to be interesting to see if somebody gets moved. I have a feeling maybe the Cubs can get a taker.
Hayward signed through next year.
Hayward is signed through 2023, so next year's season is his last year.
Matt Carpenter did not make the roster for the Texas Rangers. I read about that just a couple of days ago. I know.
Did not know that.
He signed a minor league deal with them, so nothing was guaranteed, right? So
I heard that. I expected him to maybe be like the 26th guy or something like that, because right now it's 28, and then at the end of April it goes back down to 26.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 2 bench players that are going to go at the end of the month.
I would think this is it for him, right, B? I mean,
yeah.
He was looking pretty damn tired even last year, not able to catch anything, right? Like the swing is just so slow. It's so easy to overpower him, and when he's hitting, he just doesn't have any thump left in the bat. It's just one of those things where by age he's not like you would. Good chance a 36 or 37 year old is still serviceable. I mean, you got Josh Donaldson and everything, near the same age that still coveted, but he fell off a cliff after 2018 and has not been the same. Made a lot of money for batting under 200.
Oof.
Yeah, so I think he's probably done. Just a little bit of cardinal fact I had to throw in there, since he's signed with the Rangers, his home state. Wanted to bet on himself a little bit by signing a minor league deal. If I was his agent, I'd be like, don't do that. Don't bet on yourself right now. Take something guaranteed, because minor league deal doesn't come with any risk to the Rangers. It's very easy to send him back down. He did accept his assignment, to his credit, but I would expect that from Matt Carpenter. He's always been a team guy. So
he's in their minor league system right now?
I think so, yeah, AAA.
I mean,
he can buy those guys a few nice dinners. He made about $38 million over the last 2 years. So
maybe there's an injury and he gets called back up. Never know.
I know
I know
if you want to bring up one more guy that can hit in the shift, that's fine. I mean hit into the shift.
Into the shift, right?
Like right into the shift.
Get rid of that shift. You might have a chance.
Maybe.
Maybe.
What do you guys think about?
What
do you guys think about the new devices that catchers and pitchers are wearing? Pirates used it today. The Cubs didn't.
The guys from the Brewers were using it. Didn't even notice it.
Do you think it disrupted Barnes though? Because
they've been using it all spring.
I know, but do you think it made him work any faster or?
I mean, there was times where the Cubs batters were stepping out because they felt like they were trying to slow him up. Because Barnes works fast.
How long do you think it'll be before Houston taps into the encryption? And
they've already done it.
They said today, like, the sign stealing is out of the way now, and I'm like, bullshit, man. There'll be some nerd they'll hire saying it's an analytics guy, and he's going to be in there with computer chips tapping into the signal.
They're all wearing vibrators in their butt. One vibration for fastball, 2 vibrations for changeup.
If you're going to hide it anywhere.
That's right.
That's where you have to do it. That's what I always say. All right, I think we're getting kind of loopy here at the end. So I think Pete did not join. This might be a first. This actually might be a first. Without warning, right? He's usually pretty good about telling us too. Maybe since we've been so inconsistent with Thursday nights that he just gave up.
Nah, I've had something come up.
Pirates, A's fans, Cleveland fans, Baltimore fans, don't give up or give up. Shit, I don't care. These kinds of franchises either need to be sold to somebody who gives a shit, or they need to be up for relocation or contraction. And I hate to say that about legacy. Legacy, regardless of the Pirates' last 40 years of history, because it sucked, right, as far as records go. Like, they're one of the oldest teams in the league.
Yeah.
Contraction just seems like a dumb suggestion. Terrible idea. But if they cannot compete in this league and they're willing to take revenue sharing and not invest it right back into their teams, they shouldn't be allowed to own a team.
This is why they need to add regulation or relegation to baseball. You don't want to spend the money and you suck, you get relegated to the AAA.
I believe that now more. I feel that way, that sentiment now more than ever, though, Elliot, is that if these owners cannot get their shit together and realize if you don't consistently try to put a decent product on the field, like, you can't expect your new stadiums to be filled up with butts in the seats. It just doesn't work that way. And so these owners are shit. They're terrible businessmen. And they're taking revenue sharing. They're not investing it back in their team, and they should be forced to sell, or their team should just be goddamn ripped away from them. I know the commissioner works for him. He's a mouthpiece for the owners, but something's got to be done, because this is not good for the sport. I hate seeing teams like this that consistently just suck. They're not even you don't even know what to call it. And I know Pittsburgh has a great minor league system now. So it's ranked one of the higher ones. But
I think we forget too that the Pittsburgh was in the playoffs and were filling the stadium back in 2015, in 2015 and 2016.
Yeah, but gosh, look what they've done. They've almost gone out of their way to.
Then they kind of blew everything up, and they haven't really done anything since the Jake Arrieta.
Like, even the most.
It doesn't matter what you do, nothing's gonna help you.
I know it might be a feeling of helplessness, but when you have an owner that's willing to take revenue sharing and everything else and not put it right back into it, I don't know how you can have owners like that in the league. I know there's a lot more to it, man. I'm oversimplifying it. I'm talking about it as though it's like a, right, black and white deal. I know there's a lot of nuance to the whole thing, but I really do feel for some of these fans, like, Oakland having to sell blood just to live. It's tough to see that shit. And, it's, either an owner takes over who's wealthy enough to where this is a fun hobby for him because he loves baseball and doesn't care that this team breaks even or whatever, right? That he's willing to put a good product on the field. I say he, whoever it is, right?
Whomever. Yes.
Whomever. And or move the goddamn team to a market that's ready for it. I just don't. I don't know how they can keep rolling on like this. Baltimore, I have no idea. Like, I can't name one player on their roster. And if I wouldn't have seen the Pirates today, Brubaker might have been the only name I could rattle off because he was a starter. I remember him from last year. But it's like, imagine being a fan.
It's a quadruple A major league team over there.
It is.
If that.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want help, spread the word. Or if you want to help, spread the word. Jesus Christ, Pete. He types a lot of words. Please give a 5-star review and tell your friends to subscribe. We're available on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Also, be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including Talking Sports on the Bleachers with Don Glenn, the Derek King Sports Show, 2 for 3 with Moose Michaels, Yacker Jacks, XFL, STL, and In the Cards with A-Train Arlington Lane. Send us an email at the show at teamarivalspodcast.com. You can find Elliot at TRR_Elliot and Ron at TRR_75. I'm glad Pete typed that out. May not have remembered it. Elliot, or let's just do this. B, last thoughts before we get the hell out of here.
Excited to see what the hell Jordan Hicks is going to do Tuesday.
We talked about that earlier. A little bit of a surprise, a little bit of a shocker. I would not have guessed that going into camp that he was going to be named the 5th starter.
Me either, but who else are they going to throw out there, So.
Don't know. They can always maybe try to sign Jeff Suppan back. I'm sure he's still floating around there somewhere.
They can sign Emily.
Emily's got a gun. It's a Nerf gun, but she's got one. E?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Get rid of the day off after opening day.
Amen. I hate that day off. It's my nemesis. All right, everyone. We're sorry that all 3 of us couldn't be here, but we'll punish Pete next week. I'll probably whip him in the nuts at the car antenna next time I see him, but hopefully he's got a good reason. We've heard the 2 reasons I'll accept. We'll find out more next week, so tune in so we can discuss that with our buddy. Hope everything's okay, though. Jeez, I'll feel really bad. We love you guys so much. We'll be back same time, same place next week. Maybe not live streaming. I don't know. It's a last-minute decision for me. I do have unilateral authority on that one, so it may be audio only. I hope. I hate doing live stream. Until then, we love you all so much, and bye-bye, everyone.